Thanks to those joining me live and to those that'll be joining me on archive. Check it out. All right, check it out. Wanted to do a video here about some of the worst ideas I have ever heard um in terms of improving the sport. Some of the worst ideas I've ever heard. I mean, they're out there. I've heard them, but there's some bad ones. All right, really bad. Let's start with the. Is it like still a thing? That whole what the hell was it called? Like I forgot the name of it. The that boxing with that ring, like a literal ring, and they had no ropes. Hardcore boxing, whatever the hell it was called. All right, that thing was it was a failure, just waiting to happen. All right, there are just things in boxing that don't need changed. Boxing has been around and has, you know, through the test of time. Okay, boxing is not a sport that needs a lot of improvement. No, but this style, because you could do this, you could do, boxing is fine just the way it is. The problems with boxing are not the things that are not being done. Big knockout boxing, was that the name of it? Right? They called it something like that. Oh, we're gonna. They promoted like no ropes. We're not gonna have any ropes. No ropes. Yeah, how did that work out for you? How did that work out? And they had like the MMA style gloves. Well, how did that work out? How did that work out? Didn't work out so well. It wasn't much of a success. All right. Not much of a success. How did the no ropes thing work out? It didn't work out very well. That thing was an utter failure. Big knockout boxing. BKB. There you go. AJ10 in the house. Big knockout boxing. Man, that thing was such a failure. And it wasn't even fun to watch. Like, I remember trying to watch it. I'm like, what the fuck is this? All right. There was never a fight of the year candidate on there. Like, it just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. Don't know ropes thing? Terrible. But by the way, I never understood why they wanted to get rid of the ropes. Like, I never quite understood that. Like, what's wrong with the rope? I think the ropes are great. The ropes have given us the rope a dope. The ropes have given us memorable moments in boxing. Fighters getting trapped against the ropes when their opponent breaks, cut offs the ring, have given us epic moments in boxing. Jose Luis Castillo against the ropes while Morales knocks him out in the 10th round. Epic. Lennox Lewis bouncing off the ropes and Rockman catches him, knocks him out. Big upset. Epic. Epic moments. I loved it. Great stuff. What else? What's up, DJ Mexicano, the Texas? So that thing was a failure. Horrible. Other things I've heard. They should use MMA gloves in boxing. Yeah, boxers should use gloves that has the fingers exposed. That's a brilliant idea, right? Just brilliant. There's a reason. Okay, the thumb is attached to the rest of the glove now in a boxing glove. You guys do know that, right? Do you know what's going to happen in a sport where you only get to use your gloves and you're throwing nothing but punches? Okay, with the fingers exposed. Do you not understand what type of a terrible idea this is? It's a terrible idea. It's not a good idea. It's a terrible idea. Plus, guys would fuck up their wrist and their hands a lot more that way. And you'll get more hand injuries, more fights will end earlier, more guys will get poked in the eye. Oh no, Batista, I think what they should do instead is wear thumbless MMA gloves. I'm, or like MMA gloves, the size of MMA gloves with like what are they, 4 ounces or 6 ounces or 5 ounces, whatever it is. Well, they already have that. It's the 8 ounce gloves, but the 8 ounce gloves covers, okay, a majority of it is not towards the knuckle area. It's all over. It's on the wrist, on the thumb. Okay, they already have that. That just tells you people don't know what the hell they're talking about. They already, like, the 8 ounce glove, especially the horsehair gloves. Right, there's less space between that and the knuckles than an MMA glove. That's just the truth. Right, that is just the truth. Wearing MMA gloves in boxing is a terrible idea. Right, horrible. I mean, I can't think of a worse idea. I just can't. Seriously. What a terrible idea that is. AJ10 says, let's get rid of arenas and make the fights in stadiums. I didn't even think about that one, but that one takes the cake, right? Because they're actually doing that in boxing right now. Okay, putting fights in stadiums where you can't even see the fight. Terrible. I've heard some other terrible ideas. I heard a MMA commentary team once say that they should make 6 round fights instead of 12, like, so they could get more action. Less feel out rounds. That would make boxing far more exciting. Terrible. What type of terrible idea is that? Who wants to see that? Like, man, some fights are barely getting started after 6 rounds. It's terrible. Just because you don't have the patience to watch like 2 or 3 feel out rounds, we shouldn't. It's part of the thing, and it's what they've been doing in boxing for ages. It is people. They think it should be like MMA, like 3 rounds only. Like, it's just stupid. All right, get the fuck out of here. They should do less rounds. They should just do 6 rounds. It's crazy. What is people thinking? Like, Zab Judah would be one of the best fighters of all time if he did that, right? But seeing how fighters react when they go to deep water, I mean, that's part of how good you do in the championship rounds. It's part of, history and lore of boxing. Like, that's what separates the men from the boys. Like, what are you talking about? I mean, this shit's insane. They need less rounds. There's too many rounds. Like that. That's not the problem with boxing. All right. AJ10 said an MMA guy. Some MMA guys say elbows and forearm punches should be allowed. I mean, seriously. All right. Do you know how many fights would be stopped immediately? All right, because you know, an elbow could cut, right? But if that was allowed, many fights would just end immediately, right? And this is the issue I have with a lot of MMA fans. Look, if you're a boxing and MMA fan, there's nothing wrong with that. The problem with MMA dudes is that they fail to understand that boxing is designed the way it's designed for a reason. They fail to understand that at one point, forearm hits and elbows and all that crap, right? Backhanded fist, all that was allowed in boxing at one point. Eventually, the London Prize rules came about, and then the Marquess of Queensberry came about, and even after that, they started doing the neutral corner rule. Like it evolved to what it is now. Boxing did, and with all the rules that were put in place with that, I mean, boxing became a very beautiful sport to watch. And I know beautiful is kind of an oxymoron, but what I'm saying is that's what led to our Muhammad Ali's. That's what led to, all these great fighters, the Sugar Ray Robinsons, the rules we have today, the rules we have in place. This idea that we should devolve and go back to what we were doing in this sport like 100 years ago is laughable. And it's ignorant because we've done it before, and the sport decided it wasn't going to go that route. Right? I mean, just listen to what they say. Oh, boxing. They don't even fight in the ground. Well, that's the point. You know how dumb that sounds? It's like saying wrestling. Amateur wrestling. They don't even stand up and throw punches. Like what that's dumb. You sound dumb when you say that. What the? Right? Oh, I would watch boxing if they allowed knees, elbows, and they fought in the ground and they allowed submissions. Well, you already have that. It's called MMA. Like, why do you want the same sport twice? You guys don't make any sense. I don't like boxing because all they do is throw punches. I kind of wish they threw knees and elbows. Well, it's called Muay Thai. Like these things that you wish, like they already exist, and there's other combat sports of it. Like you guys don't make any sense. The worst thing is they want to turn boxing into this whole nother thing. Like, get the fuck out of here. Right? Like, seriously. What other horrible ideas have you guys heard of how to improve the sport? All right? Because I've heard some horrible things. All right? Like, I've heard some horrible things. Let's read some comments here. MMA guys make the stupid argument boxing is limited. I remember I did a video, and I don't know if AJ, you were subscribed to me at that, but I made a boxing called, and I've said this, right? And I don't know if anyone else has said this, but I've been saying this for years, right? Boxing is limited by design, right? Like, if you know the history of boxing, you know that they started to take away other forms of striking. They took away the wrestling. They took away the free-for-all fighting of it, okay? And it eventually evolved into what? A sport where you only fight with your fists, where other things are illegal. Like it's not like boxing was this martial art that was created and they had no knowledge of kicks and wrestling and elbows, and that's not the way boxing. That's not boxing was designed to become a prize fighting sport, a bloody sport, but a sport nonetheless. It's a blood sport. It's prize fighting, and the reality is, it was designed that way. And it obviously worked for many years, for years, decades, centuries. It's worked. And you see, people don't seem to understand, right? People don't even understand that the gloves, the boxing gloves are not designed to protect your opponent's face. You guys understand that? Boxing gloves are designed to protect the fighter's hands. That's what boxing gloves are designed for. The whole point of wrapping your hands is to protect your hands. The whole point of putting on a boxing glove is to protect your hands. You could hit a wall a lot harder with a boxing glove than you can with your bare fist. That's just a fact. With all the punching bags they hit, all the speed bags they hit, all the double bag, all the types of bag, whatever size of punching bag, whatever. All the sparring they do, all the prize fights they have, all the exhibitions they have, whatever it is that they have, boxers have to protect their hands, not just any fight, throughout the course of a career. If it wasn't for boxing gloves, fighters wouldn't have as many fights as they do. They just wouldn't. And I hear it, even till this day, I hear many um many boxing commentators, even here on YouTube, many who I'm subscribed to. I still hear them call MMA gloves the small gloves that could do more damage, and it's just not true. All right. First of all, they've already done the quote unquote scientific experiment. Bas Rutten, hit a dummy with a boxing glove and with his bare hand. Okay. There was no difference calculated in the force landed. It's just that the boxing glove allows you to keep hitting without breaking your hand. The boxing 8-ounce glove has less protection from the knuckle, to the end of the padding than an MMA glove does. That's just the truth, guys. All right? That's just the reality. The entire quote-unquote ounce of an MMA glove is all on the knuckle. On the boxing glove, it's all over the hand, including the thumb, all the way to the wrist. Even McGregor's own trainer said when he put on the 8-ounce glove, he couldn't believe how little padding it had. You guys got to actually put on an 8-ounce glove to know what I'm talking about. With that said, well, what else? What else have you heard? What else have people said, like dumb ideas to improve boxing? What's up, Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens? There's also an idea that the championship round should count double. That's a horrible idea. Count them double. Why? Why? I mean, it's like I'm all for, because it's true, the championship rounds separating the boys from the men. I'm all for that because it's true, right? Someone who can't go the full 12, he's just not an elite fighter. He can't be by definition, right? Just like if you can't complete a marathon, you're not a marathon runner. If you can't complete 12 rounds, you're not a professional boxer, right? Like that's just the way it is. So that aspect I get, but count the championship rounds double. Like what does fighter A winning round 11, and fighter B winning round 6? Like, well, why is round 11 double and round 6 isn't? I mean, that's a horrible idea. Well, maybe not double, but it's a 10-8. I got you. Bad idea. It's all about velocities, is boxing, Reggie Owens. All right. What about making the referee a judge in 13 rounds instead of a even 12? Yeah, I don't think about that. I mean, really, Hulk Hogan? Are we going to have the fighters stand by while we look at the judges' scorecards? I could see a mess with that, by the way. Like, could you imagine? Oh, it's a draw. They're going to fight a 13th round, and they're in the middle of the 13th, and oh, no, it was a mistake. Stop the fight. Fighter A1. I don't know. They should just do it 13 rounds, right? And ending a boxing fight with even rounds is always, it's going to cause more problems than solve anything, right? Eddie LM, McGregor's punching power turned into a joke in boxing. There's a gif of him landing a jab on Floyd's smiling face, and Floyd's expression never changed. Well, look, and what I like to hear, like when people say if they had MMA gloves, McGregor would have knocked him out. It's not true. It's not true. All right. McGregor hit Mayweather with an 8-ounce glove, an 8-ounce boxing glove. A lot of that padding, like I said, is okay. It's all over the hand. The point of contact, like where the punch lands, has less padding than the MMA glove. That's just a fact. Like, that's not mean. I just like that you could put on those gloves and press. Put on a Cleto Reyes. All right. Not that they had Cleto Reyes here, but put on a Cleto Reyes 8-ounce glove and press on the knuckle area. You're gonna feel your knuckles. All right, that's just the truth. All right. I'm just saying. MMA glove, you're not going to feel your knuckle. It's all padding. Right? But that's besides the point. But it's not so much that his punching power became a joke. All right? It's just that professional boxers know how to anticipate punches better. They could take a punch better, right, than MMA fighters. Why wouldn't they? It's what they do. All right? That's only common sense. How about the idea of showing the official scorecards during the fight? Oh, wait, they've already done that. It's still a terrible idea. What a terrible idea. What a dumb idea that was. Now, what's the point of that anyway? Like, I could maybe see the good intention. The good intention is to make sure that, well, the judges are scoring properly. But, like, what if they're not? Then what do you do? Doesn't make a difference, does it? Open scoring was a terrible idea. One of the worst things they've ever enacted. Terrible. Hulk Hogan says, okay, how about an overtime round that's 5 minutes long to get rid of draws? No. What? That's so random. Like, we're going to have a 5-minute round after 12 rounds. Like, that's the most random thing I've ever heard. All right. You guys keep them coming. What horrible ideas have you heard about improving the sport of boxing? Eddie Alem, I've always said McGregor's power was overrated, even in MMA. He's dangerous in MMA because of his accuracy and volume. He only has one or two one-punch KOs in his career. Hulk Hogan says, or in the future, they have an AI judge in the fights. Hulk Hogan's coming, like he's taking a cake with his horrible ideas. An AI judge. Come on now. All right. We're gonna have artificial intelligence judges. So who knows? They might be better than the fucking old farts we have now. We have old motherfuckers judging fights, right? And we're expecting them to properly score fights when it put half-naked ring girls in front of them between rounds. All right? Now you know their heart rate's going up. But like you know that like all the thoughts they're having. Oh, when I was a young man, if I was still a young man, like, and then we're expecting these guys to like actually score these fights. I mean, this is insane. It's crazy. Have you seen these where these judges are sitting and where these ring girls, okay, where you could see their freaking camel toe right in front of these judges holding up these signs? And you expect me to believe that they're in a state of mind to be scoring these fights? Because whenever you say, I don't know what fight he saw, he wasn't watching any fight. Okay, he was visualizing himself, okay, with this young girl. When I was a young man, if I was a young man, we're no longer a young man, and you've been hired to score a fucking boxing fight. So get your head out of the gutter and watch the fucking fights. Goddamn. Seriously. One of these days, they're going to announce that they couldn't get one of the scorecards couldn't be turned in because one of these motherfuckers had a heart attack. All right. One of these days. And it's going to be when their heartbeat just went up too high watching one of these ring girls. All right. Agent 10, some MMA guys say boxing should adapt MMA rules. Like what rules? 5-minute rounds. Okay. Shit's insane. Right? It's like we should do it your way because why? I'm perfectly fine with 3-minute rounds 12 times. That's perfectly fine. It's worked like forever. It's worked since forever. 5-minute rounds for boxing. That's crazy, dude. Okay. First of all, you would have a lot of deaths. More deaths than we do now. Okay. Why? Because the more oxygen you use, okay, without any type of rest, the less oxygen that's in your brain, the more damage you take to the brain. And this isn't like MMA where you could hang on and grapple on the ground. And, you know what I mean? Like kick the leg instead. Like the punches are landing, most of them in the head and some in the body. All right. Some of these dudes, many MMA dudes, have no respect for boxing. They don't understand how dangerous boxing is. Only when people will say that MMA should be banned, all of a sudden boxing is the most dangerous sport in the world. Well, why should MMA be banned? Boxing is more dangerous. I mean, boxing, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's only when it's convenient. People don't understand how dangerous the sport is, right? So there's a reason it's 3-minute rounds. Reggie says, I think they should have to start round score as 9-9 rounds. And if the round is an even round instead of 10-10. Well, I mean, that's all right. Hulk Hogan says he's trying. Well, try harder, Hulk Hogan. All right? Winners should get 80% of the purse. The problem with that is that what if the winner shouldn't have won? What if the winner, got a gift decision? Right? Well, that's problematic. Oh, I'll just give it to the guy getting the knockout. Well, what if the fight stopped prematurely? Right? It just a lot of problems are created if you do that. Right? A lot of problems are created if you do that. Let all the fighters juice, says AJ10. see all the guys not getting hit by the guys getting juiced. Right? Those are the guys all for it. And a lot of people saying that have a problem because Deontay Wilder's talking about killing somebody. But they're okay with guys juicing. Weird. Let the fighters juice. Let's just let them juice. Okay. They need to do something about these judges, is what I'll say. Right? Like, I think there should be at least one former fighter in every fight. You know, at least. Not to say that all fighters are great at scoring. Fighters could be biased too. They could be biased towards the type of fighter they were, the style they had. But still, I think I'll trust them over these old farts any day. Oh, Dr. Reggie Bones, or whatever the fuck their names are. Dr. Reggie or Dr. John Johnson. Dr. Kraft Ronald. Doctor, like just because they have a doctor, that we have to oh my god, he's a doctor. Like, what the fuck? He didn't go to school to learn how to fucking score boxing. I know that. I also heard Joe Rogan argue that boxing should be done in a cage. Right? They should do boxing in a cage. He said that it's crazy. I quote, crazy that boxing happens in a ring. Like, they should do it in a cage. MMA has a better idea. I can't even picture a boxing match in a cage. I mean, that's just weird to me. It's just like a weird sight. First of all, I've been to an MMA event. It's like when you're ringside, man, it's hard to see the fight sometimes. Okay, I'm just being honest. All right, but it's not just that. It's just like, I just have a hard time picturing boxing in a cage. I'm sorry. All right, and he came up with this conclusion because Hopkins fell out of the ring. All right. So something that happens one every 1,000 fights, like all of us, we gotta get rid of the ring, because Hopkins was boxing at 50 years old and fell out of the fucking ring. Okay, he hit the man. Back to the ropes thing. First of all, you can't do certain moves against the ropes like you can in the cage, man. Like, you need the ropes. Like, people are forgetting, man. Like, it's crazy to me. Like, Marquez would use the ropes a lot. All right. They have some bend to them. All right. Like, shit's crazy. Boxing should be judged in 25% slow motion on the next day on you. Oh, man. Jesus Christ. MMA is better on TV. It is. Especially when they're grappling. Dude. It's like everybody was looking up at the screen in the arena. Like, seriously. I understood at that point. When they would go to the ground, I immediately understood why, before they had like the big screens, and why early prize fighting got rid of grappling. Like, I learned right away. All right, right away. I was like, oh, so this is why they got rid of it. I could just imagine being in an arena in the 1800s, okay, and it goes to the ground. Like it's hard to see anything. All right, you just see a dude on top of another dude and some rolling around, and it's just like, okay. I'm not saying out of respect it, but on TV it's a lot better. Like they zoom in with the camera, and you like, it's, and you got the announcers, kind of telling you what's going on. But in an arena, like when everybody looks up at the big screen, you realize right away. Just imagine if there wasn't a big screen, you wouldn't know what the fuck is going on. Like even people at the AJ fights, watching in the nosebleeds, could tell more what's going on with two little bodies moving around. Right? Just saying. Slow motion videos, man. These dudes. The problem with slow motion though is that slow motion doesn't tell the story the way like the actual speed tells you, right? It just doesn't. Like there's it just doesn't. You can't really tell the impact. You can't really, and it's not like when they show slow motion, like when HBO used to show, or Showtime, or even the Zone, the slow motion camera they use, right, is a camera specifically made to capture slow motion, right? The real speed camera they're using is not meant for that. So there's a lot of pixelation going on, and you're missing milliseconds upon milliseconds, right? So I'm not going to dive into all that, okay? But it's just not. Just watch the fight in normal speed, okay? Imagine watching grappling MMA match in a state. Holy shit, dude! It looks like they're like. I know it's gonna sound very disrespectful, and some MMA fans are gonna get pissed off at me, but when two dudes go to the ground, okay, and you're in an arena, it looks like they're making out. Like I'm being serious, okay? It looks like they're making out, okay? Like that's what it looks like. I'm just being serious. No, these guys could choke you out. These style, I'm sure they can. All right. On TV, you could tell like they're fighting and they're fighting for position, but in an arena, it just looks different. Okay, I'm just telling you. Like one guy is ground and pounding, yeah, you could see the punches, but it just looks like he's on top of the other dude, and I'm just saying that's how it looks like. Okay, and not only that, it's not that exciting to watch, and MMA fans know it. That's why they start booing when the fight goes to the ground. It's what they do in their sport, and they start booing. And they start chanting, stand them up. Like, why even have grappling in your sport if you're going to be chanting, stand them up? Can somebody answer me that? Oh, but D-Style, you took it too far, D-Style. Look, I love MMA. Okay, I just can't watch the grappling live. Can't see anything unless you're like in the third row or closer. Okay. I think he's half guard. Is he? I don't know. It looks full guard. I'm not sure. But you don't know what the fuck's going on. Let's look up at the screen. Might as well just watch it at home. Am I going to watch the Wilder fight? I'll be listening to Ringside Reporter with Joe Habib and Eric over there, and you guys could tune in there if you want. All right? I'll be listening. I'll be working, so I'm not going to be able to watch the fight live, but I'll be listening to Ringside Reporter. Okay? You tell him D-Style sent you, by the way. Boxing with Joe, for the real, it does. Look, when you're watching it live, like I'm not even bullshitting you guys, right? People don't know what the fuck's going on. They don't know what's going on. If they act like they do, but they don't know. Like, especially like if it's in the corner, like in the one of the corners in the octagon, they don't know what the fuck's going on. They don't know what the fuck's going on. They just see one dude on top of another dude. But that's all they see. and they see the legs moving, like fighting for position. That's all they're seeing. All right. Like one dude wrapping his legs around the other guy is the most you could see. That's it. Like you see the little legs dangling. That's all you see, right? And one guy moving up and moving down, moving up and moving. That's all you see, right? So like it's not fun. Like that. I swear to God, I always like kind of knew, because I read up a lot about the history of boxing, and promoters just said, we're going to get rid of the grappling. Like it's people don't want to see it. Okay. And then wrestling and then you find out why wrestling became sports entertainment, why it became scripted. Because nobody wants to see two dudes like just wrestle. Like, it's not fun. Like it's like people appreciate it more now because people know more about it. But back in those days when you didn't have HDTV and you didn't have Joe Rogan telling you what's going on, like it's hot and just sweaty outside. You just see two dudes on top of each other. Okay. And they don't know what the fuck's going on. Like boo, fight. Right? Like it's that I understood. This is why they got rid of it. And then you had a bunch of MMA fans booing and chanting stand them up. Like it's just what? Like, okay. All right. Well, that's interesting. That's something else. Stand them up. Okay. Let's see. Two refs. What if every boxer gets their own entrance song, give their best punch a finishing name like Wilder? It would be like the windmill tag. Oh man. Yeah, the grappling shit can't be seen at an event. It's hard. Boxing conversation said MMA fans are the dumbest motherfuckers. They act like they like fighting. They don't really they really like boxing in a cage because they do the tripping. They do be tripping when the fights go to the ground. I agree. Get rid of all the sanctioned bodies. Create one. Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, we need one unified champion for sure, but it's not gonna happen. That one is. You see all the good ideas that they don't happen. You know what I mean? Like, we're more likely to see 5-minute rounds. Okay. Yeah. Now you even have fighters now, like the Diaz brothers, talking about how, they don't want to go to the ground. They want to fight standing up, and like it's just like you guys are in the wrong sport. Like like what are you doing? shit's, shit's, I remember one time, okay, long time ago, I did a boxing video, and an MMA fan put, boxing should change its trunks. The MMA trunks look cool. The boxing trunks are a little too high and they look nerdy. What? That's what he told me. I, I couldn't even be mad at him. I was just like astonished. Because boxing trunks, you can wear them, up to the belly button. And the MMA guys, they got the trunks nice and like, what do you care about that? Like what? Like who like pays attention to that? It's what? This shit's insane, dude. I mean, who cares? Like he looks nerdy. He was picturing Steve Urkel. What? This shit's insane. Oh man, some MMA fans do have the worst advice for how boxing should improve itself. Like their advice is it should become MMA. You know, what you guys should do to improve boxing? Just go to 5-minute rounds, allow elbows, knees, tosses, clinches, wrestling, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, all types of submissions. Fight in a cage instead of a ring. Like what's so that's MMA. Like what's what? Why do you want two MMA sports? Like what's going on here? Wear MMA gloves. I forgot that one. If they could really box, they wouldn't be doing MMA. Yeah, especially with the money they could make. Right? Oh man. Somebody says Silencio says Silencioso says, I'm sorry. Boxing should stay like what it is because any change now is going to go worse, probably. I agree. AJ 10. Some MMA guys say they should box without shoes. What? Who said that? Like, why would they box without shoes? Like, what the fuck is going on with people? Oh, they shouldn't box in a hard canvas. They should box like in a soft canvas, like in MMA. Right? Oh, that makes sense. This is box without shoes. Why? How's I can't even picture boxing with like without the boxing shoes. I just can't. Right? I have a hard time picturing that. Hulk Hogan, there's really a rule that says boxers can't bend down below a certain level. Is there really a rule? It's like there is, but it's not like enforced really. And and if a boxer just goes lower than the waist, like and it comes back, it's kind of like an infraction. If he does it right away, there's really nothing the ref could really do. You know, to be honest with you. But fighters do it all the time. It's not a big deal. Ah, man. Hulk Hogan says he's always wondered. Yeah, I am gonna do I'm gonna start doing a live series on like how boxing was when it started and like modern boxing in a way, because there's traces of boxing or boxing, with very similar to the boxing rules of today from like Egypt, and they had some form of boxing in Greece, and but as far as modern boxing, I'm gonna start doing like a series and kind of just talking about everything, the way everything happened from the neutral corner, and because I'm very interested to see, because every rule, like there's a reason for every rule, right? Like every rule, there's a reason for it, believe it or not, right? Like people always say, why don't they allow a spinning back fist in boxing, right? Well, there's a reason for it. You could land a lot of these spinning back fists. Sometimes they land with their wrist, sometimes they land with their elbow, right? So there's a reason for it, right? Um, Practical reasons and also historical reasons, right? And then there's just reasons for everything. Um, I'll be honest, I don't know the origins or the reason behind the you can't bend below the waist thing. I've never, I don't know the reason, right? I'll be 100% like maybe somebody in the chat knows. You're more than welcome to, but just stuff like that. I might do like a series because there's a reason for everything. It might be something to do with so you don't come up and hit your, your fucking cranium on the chin of your opponent or their face, or I'm sure there's a reason behind that, but as far, and that's probably one of the reasons. But I'll be interested to know. Like just about everybody knows the neutral corner rule and how that came about. You know, like everybody knows that, like the whole Jack Dempsey thing, right? But why a fighter goes below the waist, I have no idea why that's a rule. None at all. Okay, I have no idea. I'll be 100% honest. I don't even know why there's a rule that says you can't hit an opponent with both fists at the same time. I don't know why that's a rule. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I don't know why. I'm sure there's a reason for it, though. And I'm sure there's people out there that do know, but that's a rule. Believe it or not, right? Fighters don't do it anyway. It's not a very smart thing to do, really, but it is a rule, right? They should allow quote unquote dirty boxing, like holding and punching. Well, that is, you see, that there's always been a gray area with that, with holding, right? The Marches of Queensberry rule does say no holding or hugging allowed, right? Like hugging an opponent or holding an opponent. But it doesn't really specify, right, about the clinches. The clinch is a little different, right? And that usually they do leave. That's a gray area that they do leave to the referee and the fighters, right? That's why you will have referees. That's why people need to be careful when they say things like, well, in that fight, this guy was allowed to hold. In this fight, this guy wasn't allowed to hold. Well, you got to look at the ref. There are refs that go to the corner, to the locker room of each fighter, and they talk to them, and they say, hey, if you're holding one arm, you are allowed to use your other hand to strike up until I say stop or break, right? And when I say break, I will let you know when to commence the fight, and I will say box, right? Refs make that very clear, that and they go over the rules with both before, right, and also right before the fight in the locker. So there is a gray area with the whole clinching thing. There's like that could make a world of difference. A world of difference, right? In the second Frazier Ali fight, Ali was allowed to clinch a lot in that fight. In the third fight, the ref really got on his ass about the holding, and then the fight got a lot more interesting, right? So there is a gray area there with clinching, and there has to be. Look, I have evolved a lot on the clinching. I have evolved a lot. I used to be 100% against clinching no matter what. But just the more I watch boxing, the more I realized it's holding is just a natural course of action. Okay, it's going to happen. Because boxing is just not a natural thing, right? The flow of motion, it's rare that you could just go without the ref even worrying about breaking it, right? It's fighters are fighting for position, and they're not going to give in and put themselves in a vulnerable position, so they'll wait till the ref breaks it. Okay, like there's just a lot to it. That's why there's a lot of gray area with the holding, right? A lot. Speaking of that, yes, I once saw Steve Kim tweet out that after 3 holds, the refs start taking away points. So what a horrible idea, right? I mean, you would have fights ending in DQs left and right. And you would have fighters getting away with shoving, okay, getting away with pushing. I mean, this is crazy. All right, Harry Winks. Judges should view the fight in a secluded booth with a monitor so they can see it with multiple angles and have access to replays. That's not a bad idea, actually. It's not a bad idea. I have actually suggested something like that once, not for the boxing judges, but for the announce crew. So they're not like you always saw. Like Letterman would get influenced by what Jim Lampley and them were saying, and So I think this should be secluded somewhere and score the fight and allow them to put it out there, but where they're not listening to the announce team, just stay away from that group think, and because it is a thing, okay, and to just see what's going on there, right? I mean, it'll be interesting. Like, I don't know why he's scoring it that way. Well, you never know. He may see something different. And then after the fight, they can ask him, hey, well, what do you see? Well, why did you score it that way? We were in agreement with you. We're not in agreement with you. That's always something I thought they should do. Hulk Hogan said the referees don't allow boxers to work on the inside when one hand is free. They just break it up. It depends on the ref. It depends on the ref. There was definitely a lot more inside fighting in prior times. And fighters are really good at fighting off of the clinch and getting guys off of them and how to not let fighters get away with the holding. And that art is getting lost now because of the whole refs just break it up right away, right? Some fighters just stand there like idiots and wait for the refs to break it up. And Kenny Bayless is one of them. All right. Age 10, I also heard the idea that all fights end in a draw if there is no KO. Well, that's a terrible idea. Who the hell said that? Like, who says these things? Like, who said that? Like what? What? Oh, guy gets his ass beat for 12 rounds. Oh, it's a draw. Like, what? Okay. Before every fight, there should be play a short video educating the public on the rules. I mean, they could do that, but come on, man. Everybody should know the rules by now, RP Harold, says Brown. I agree. Harry Wilkes, it would be interesting to hear from the judges after the fight to understand why they scored the fight a certain way. I agree. I've always said they should have the judges in the post-fight press conference. Why not? They need to answer. Brown says, Steve Smoker lets fighters fight on the inside. He does a little more, yeah. Anyways, guys, give me a moment. I'll be right back. Better not make noises, cat. I already told you guys I hate cats. Damn cat. Look at you, cat. Anyway. Jesus Christ. If this cat meows anymore, I'm going to fucking just grab it and just throw it outside. All right, let's see. Hulk Hogan, fight to the death till someone gets killed. No judges back or gladiator times. All right. Brown says, what's my opinion on AEW? I don't have one. I haven't heard anything outside of some shit I've seen, like pictures and stuff like that. I have no idea. I will be doing a video on what I think wrestling in general, and if you want to say AEW has to do to improve and at least to entertain me. Wrestling doesn't necessarily have to become this huge thing like it was in the 80s, in the golden age and in the Attitude Era, but we'll leave that for another video. Yeah, somebody else said 13th round. I don't know about that. I don't know about that, guys. I don't know about that one. Like, first of all, they won't do it. That's number one. But second, is it a good idea to do it? I mean, I would just be in favor of just doing a 13th round. Like every championship fight should be 13 rounds. They should do it. But it ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. All right. Anyways, those listening live right now, take a moment and thumbs up the video. All right. Do that for me right now. Thank you very much. It's been nice being here with you guys. Look, here's what I'll end it with. Boxing is a great sport. All right. There's always going to be casuals that don't understand the sport, and that's fine. That's always going to be a thing. Okay. You're always going to have people that expect a Rocky fight every time. You're always going to have like that. That's always going to be a thing. Okay. Don't let that, distract you from the fact that boxing is a great sport. Okay. All sports have those idiots that don't know what they're talking about. Okay. I've been to homes and I've, watched the Super Bowl with a bunch of people. And by the end of the first quarter, the people that don't like football, like they're not even paying attention anymore. Right. Like they don't come back till the halftime show. And football is the most popular sport in this country. So don't worry about it. Just because you watch a fight with a group of people and half of them aren't even paying attention to the fight, who cares, right? Like love what you love. Boxing does not need fixed, okay? And people that don't love boxing don't love it for a reason. Like, who are they to tell anyone how the sport should improve? Not saying that there's nothing that the sport can't do to improve. There's a lot of things it could do to improve, but the things it needs to do, okay, have nothing to do with a lot of the crap you hear. Like the best fighting the best. That's what boxing needs to do. Stop robbing fighters, blatantly robbing them. I'm not talking about close fights. It's just blatant robberies. They need to stop doing that. We need better judges. Those two things would bring a lot of improvement. So those would be good things for the sport. Overhauling the sport altogether is not a good idea. Look, boxing is going to be around for a long, long time. Boxing is not going anywhere. Since I've been on YouTube, people have been talking about how the sport's going to die any year now. Back in 2007, MMA fans and all these other were saying boxing's on its deathbed. And I still remember when they were saying that De La Hoya Mayweather was the fight to quote unquote save boxing. Okay. Now that narrative has gotten so old that you don't even hear that narrative much anymore, right? Like you rarely hear that narrative. Don't get close, cat. I swear to God, I'll smack you live on the air. All right? I swear to God. I'll catch you with a chick hook if you come anywhere near this computer. I swear to God, I'll beat your ass. You hear me? Get over there. Anyway, nobody report me to PETA, okay? These styles threaten to assault a cat live on the air, right? Governing bodies should be forced to mandate other champions who fight for their belts. I mean, it sounds nice, but Brown, I agree with the 13th round, but it would be bad for business and rematches and more money. Just do a 13th round in general. Like, I think the sport itself is fine. It's the business side that sucks. I swear to God, Cat, what'd I tell you? I knew he was going to do it. I just fucking knew it. This is what I like about Cat. You see, that's why I like dogs. Okay? Dogs, like a dog would listen to me. Get over there. Crap. So when you got to have fucking cats. All right? This cat is not by my choice, by the way. Get over there. Anyway, there's a reason why a governing body can't do it. Well, they won't do it. Well, why would they? It's too much money for them, man. It's too much money for them. Right? So it's got to be bought out, man. Like some billionaire needs to come around, just buy out all these sanctioning bodies and unify them all and patent shit and just figure it out. Like that's what has to happen, right? Is it going to happen? Probably not, but that's what should happen. Okay, they would have to monopolize this damn sport. Okay, for it to happen. Anyways, guys, I do got to roll. I do got to go. This is the style, right? And I'm out. Peace.